Welcome back to the deep dive. Last time, we were right there with Dante, weren't we? Down in that sticky, boiling pitch.
That's right. The eighth circle, fifth bolgia, looking at the Barraters, those guilty of, well, public corruption.
Yeah, and it really hammered home how abusing power just degrades people. Really unpleasant.
It really does. So for this deep dive, we're actually staying put right there in that fifth bolgia, but we're zooming in on Canto 22 of Inferno.
Okay.
The idea is to see if we can pull out some, useful takeaways for our own lives, our own journeys, by looking closely at what happens. We've got the text, some interesting bits highlighted, and just a quick refresher on the scene.
Right, so paint the picture again. We're still on the edge of this ditch, basically, filled with boiling black pitch.
Exactly, a bolgia. And the Barraters are stuck in it, trying not to be seen, because these demons, the Malebranche, are patrolling the edges.
Nasty business, like guards from hell, literally.
Pretty much. And then we meet this character, Ciampolo of Navarre. One of the demons, Graffiacane, actually snags him with a hook.
Ouch. And who is this Ciampolo guy?
Well, Dante tells us he was a barrator at King Phoebot's court in Navarre. So, someone who used his position for personal gain. It shows this wasn't just an Italian problem for Dante.
Ah, interesting. And then things get tricky.
They do. This is where it gets quite clever in a dark way. Ciampolo, even hooked and suffering, he starts scheming. He tells the demons, hey, back off a bit and I'll whistle to call up some other Italian sinners for you.
He's offering them more victims while he's caught.
Sort of. It's a ploy, you see. A deception aimed right back at these masters of torment. He knows how their minds work, maybe?
So what happens? They fall for it.
They hesitate, argue a bit amongst themselves, but yeah, they kind of back off slightly, anticipating more sport. And in that instant, Ciampolo just dives, plunges right back into the safety of the boiling pitch.
Huh. He plays them. Even in hell.
Exactly. It's this moment of, grim comedy. The deceiver out-deceiving the demons, he escapes their clutches.
Wow, okay. But the demons can't be happy about that.
Oh, not at all. They are furious. And it immediately sparks a fight between two of them, Alichino, who'd sort of argued for trusting Ciampolo, and Calcabrina, who hadn't.
They start fighting each other.
Yes. They grapple, end up tumbling, and both fall right into the pitch themselves. Total chaos.
Incredible. So much for being fearsome guards.
Right. And Dante and Virgil see this mess, this infighting, and realize it's their chance to slip away quietly.
Smart move. So you mentioned some special treats or points of interest in the text.
Yeah, first, that tone we mentioned, it's comic, but also grotesque, almost like a dark farce.
It is strange, isn't it? This awful place, but then these almost slapstick moments with the demons.
And it's thought that this tone, this sort of undignified comedy, reflects the degraded nature of the sin itself. Corruption makes things base, ugly, even ridiculous. It strips away dignity.
That makes sense.
The opening simile, Dante compares the sound of the demons getting ready to march to, military signals, knights assembling, trumpets.
But these are clumsy, squabbling demons, not noble knights.
Exactly. The contrast is deliberate. It's ironic, highlighting how far removed this hellish reality is from any kind of order or nobility. Again, showing the degradation. Maybe makes you think about appearances versus reality in our own world, too.
Good point. And the source mentions specific people. Ciampolo, Gomita, Michele, Zanche. They sound kind of obscure.
They are, relatively speaking. But including them, people from Navarre, Sardinia. It shows Dante wasn't just targeting famous Florentines. He saw corruption as, well, a universal problem. It was everywhere.
Right. Makes the condemnation feel broader, more systemic. Okay, so let's boil this down. What are the main lessons we can take away for our own journey, you think?
Well, first, that idea. Deception turns against the deceivers. Ciampolo tricks the demons, who are themselves tricky.
Yeah, you see that, don't you? Dishonesty kind of eats itself eventually. It tangles things up.
Absolutely. It often creates more problems than it solves, and trust, once broken, is incredibly hard to rebuild. That's a timeless lesson, I think. The sheer gravity of public corruption. I mean, look where Dante puts these guys, deep down in Malebranche.
Yeah, it's not a minor sin in his book.
No. And it reminds us, doesn't it, of the real damage it does to society when public trust is betrayed. It undermines everything. That feels very relevant today, thinking about accountability, leadership.
Definite. Then there was the demons fighting.
Right. Discord destroys from within. Their infighting literally stopped them from doing their job and let Dante escape.
A lesson for any team or group, really.
For sure. Internal conflict, backstabbing, lack of unity. It just sabotages whatever the group is trying to achieve, whether it's a project at work or, bigger societal goals.
And the last point was?
Corruption as a universal evil. Like we said, these Barraters weren't just from Florence. They were from different regions, different courts.
So it's not a them problem, it's a news problem.
Precisely. It highlights that it's something pervasive, something we constantly need to be aware of and guard against in all sorts of contexts, not just high politics.
So stepping back, this Canto 22, it's not just about, devils and pitchforks. It's really digging into human flaws.
It is. Dante's using this incredibly vivid, sometimes even darkly funny imagery to explore things like deception, the impact of corruption, the danger of infighting, things that are deeply relevant to how we navigate our own lives and societies.
Yeah, finding those timeless lessons in this pretty grim setting.
Exactly. It's about the consequences of our choices, writ large in hell.
Okay, so maybe a final thought for us to chew on.
Yeah.
How might those small, everyday acts of, say, cutting corners, or maybe participating in gossip or infighting at work, how might those echo these bigger patterns Dante is showing us?
That's a really potent question to consider, isn't it? Where do those small compromises lead?
Something to definitely reflect on. This has been our 20-second deep dive. Thanks for joining us, and we'll be back next time for more insights for the journey.